Illegal migration is the movement by people from one place to another with the intentions of settling permanently in the new location. It becomes illegal when the entry violates the immigration laws of the destination countries. That's the case of these Nigerians returning from Libya under a voluntary repatriation process. 262 of them arrived in Nigeria late at night aboard a Libyan aircraft.
From December till date, up until this flight, we've brought back 1,803, so that's plus 262. Libya is becoming an increasingly difficult place to work. There are huge security issues, and for our own staff there are security issues, and a lot of people from West Africa, not just Nigerians, but from Guinea and Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana and other countries, are not successfully making it to the boats, and some of them are being kidnapped and put in detention centres.
While one is injured, others tell the tales of woe.
From Benin to Kano, from Kano to Agadez. So from Agadez you enter through the desert. Through the desert, many things happen in the desert. People die like mysteriously.
Italy rescued. They rescued us on the boats. After they rescued us, they took us to sail.
But first, the UN's uncovered a disturbing slave trade of migrants in Libya. The International Organization for Migration has taken testimony from Africans who've headed to the country in the hope of starting a new life. Some have told of traffickers buying and selling people in garages and car parks for as little as $200. Many victims are subsequently subjected to starvation, forced labour and prostitution, and even murdered. It's a brutal face of the migrant crisis. Leonard Doyle tells us more.
What we've been hearing for a number of months, but with increasing frequency, is that migrants who unwittingly leave from all over West Africa primarily, hoping to get a better life in Europe, end up being lured into Libya and into a gulag, which is the only way to describe it, of appalling abuse, which results in their being sold on from one person to another. They're being sold to the highest bidder in these farms, and women being enslaved as sex slaves. So it's just a shocking series of appalling abuses, and many times the migrants are indeed just murdered if it appears that they either don't have the skill or they don't have the money to pay for their way. So it's just the scale of what we're hearing is shocking.
For the Nigerian Emergency Management Agency, the process of resettlement is getting better.
The federal government of Nigeria have put in place initiative to make sure that youths are employed. The state government particularly has done well in that direction, and they are still doing more in coordination with our.
Others may desire to settle back in Nigeria, but not this young man.
I want to travel to Europe, but not by land, but by air. This one that I just came back from now is like hellfire. I've been to hellfire now. I just came back to life. Not so things is very hard there.
While the International Organization for Migration says it will continue to support the repatriation process, receiving agencies in Nigeria say they remain committed to anti-trafficking or immigration campaigns to ensure reduction in the number of illegal immigrants leaving the country.
So who's buying these people, and how are they finding them?
Well, what we're finding is that Libya is now a broken economy without any rule. It's got a very small population, 6 million people, and the size of Libya is twice the size of France. So it's a small population, and they seem to be essentially living off the migrant trade, from migrants being passed from one to another, being exploited as labourers who don't get paid, or simply being abused in different ways and being sold on for profit. So it's kind of a shocking situation. And it's very difficult to know what can be done about it because the country is in such chaos. And as we know, ISIS are there. There are different militias. There's no central government of any name. And there's great chaos. And it's a huge problem for Europe because it's a gaping hole on the southern flank of Europe, as an ambassador recently described it.
Do you think there's much of an awareness on the side of those migrants who are setting out to Libya that this is one of the risks that they could be faced with?
I mean, I think this is the problem. Every migrant believes that they're going to get through, they're going to make it to Europe, and they're going to make a small living, but whatever it is, it's going to be more than what they have at the moment in their appalling situation. Usually it's a problem of poverty, or maybe it's advancing climate change is taking away their crops. Whatever it is, they feel that they need a better life to support their family. The trouble is that it's very difficult to persuade people not to take this journey. And in the absence of a state and of borders, that are controlled, the people just keep coming. So what we are trying to do in the International Organization for Migration is use those who we are bringing home. Many, after a terrible time in Libya, decide it's time to go home, and we bring them home. And we bring them home with a message that they put on social media or they have on their local radio, and to start a discussion with their communities about maybe that there are better choices in life than to put yourself in the hand of the enslaved, of the slave keepers.
Lennon Doiver speaking to me a little earlier on.
Oh shit, oh take, pray them niggas go away. Oh, we sell the clowns around, it look like circus show. Like